Welcome to all of us around the world. It's really a great pleasure for me to extend my personal warm welcome to all of you through this year's Fung Scholars Conference. I was just reminiscing, really about the Fung Scholars program. And I think this is really now, believe it or not, the 16th year in which we're running the annual conference. And over the years, we have now a sum total of more than 6,500 Fung scholars around the world who have gone through this program. I think this is an amazing record in my mind. And I really like to, first of all, just congratulate all of you to being part of this global network. Second, I'd like to just extend my thanks to Professor Chulap Chi, Mr. K.M. Wong, Jenny Ann, and all the staff for really not only annually, helping with the selection of the Fung scholars, mounting annual programs and other programs throughout the year, but most importantly, keeping our Fung scholars in a network. Before I even talk about the topic tonight and what we are going to be experiencing, I just like to say, this is an extremely valuable network for all of us. All of you who are part of the Fung scholars, and also for all of us who are associated with the Fung scholars program. I think you'll find that this is probably one of the most important networks that you should keep and nurture throughout your career. One of the things we really hope to do is not only provide the opportunity for you to talk to each other and do the networking across countries and all over the world. Most importantly, we really think that it is important for us to fulfill our long-term mission of helping you become better leaders in your community. Whether you're in business, in academia, in government, NGO, I think we really hope that we will be developing the next generation of leaders. And, I just also like to remind everybody the premise on which the Fung Scholars Program was founded was that we wanted to give young people, and we define that as basically people before they graduate, in their first degree, an opportunity to experiencing something that is radically different from the experience that they're used to in their careers up to this point. We feel that giving young people that opportunity, that exposure, I think really allows them to actually have the wherewithal to build a much broader leadership perspective, and hence make them much better leaders in the future. Leadership nurturing and leadership development is such a big topic. We feel that with our limited resources, the one area we can contribute is this idea of giving exposure outside their normal country to people, and thereby really giving them a broad global viewpoint. And that is very important for their perspective on the world as they become leaders in their own community. So I think with that, I thought it's important for us to just remind ourselves of how we got here and what we're all about. And now let's talk about the future. Today's topic, I think, is a topic that is very close to my heart. You know that I've lived with global supply chains my whole life. What we're now seeing is, frankly, another generation of global supply chains. A generation of global supply chains which is built on digitalization in the world. All of you are very familiar now with the trend of digitalization. I happen to think that that is perhaps one of the most important trends in the world. I think we've seen the amount of digitalization that's been increasing and increasing over the last 15 years and more. But importantly, I think we will be talking about digitalization in the next 15 years and the next 30 years. In fact, I've gone on public record to say that, yes, while we're very concerned about the geopolitics that really is affecting us every day, I'm actually of the opinion that, frankly, this too shall pass, and the world will come to an understanding, and the geopolitics will, ameliorate. In fact, those in international politics and so on tell me that there are no permanent friends and there are no permanent enemies. So I've gone on public record to say that when we've absolutely finished talking about the geopolitics, we will still be talking about globalization. And we will still be talking about this digitalization that is happening to the whole world, that is changing people's lives. So I really think this digitalization trend, as our speakers tonight and our panel members tonight will be giving you a lot of thought on, is absolutely crucial. And the way that it's affecting the world now is really, we're seeing the almost complete digitalization of the global supply chains. Knowing that so much of the world's manufacturing and trade is done, across country and global supply chains, as they become digitalized, you can imagine the impact. So this is really the topic of inquiry. My brief take, if I can actually help us set up this evening before we go into depth to see some of our really people who are at the cutting edge of the global trade, in the digital era, in this digitalization of the global supply chains, is really a huge amount of trade is now taking place in a digitalized basis. You'll be surprised. The big problem there is these are all happening in what we call digital islands, and they are not talking to each other. It's, everybody's, sort of in digital island doing more and more by themselves. So one of the biggest challenges that we face now in terms of digitalizing the more and more of the global trade is how to link these digital islands together. And that really it involves the need for us to be talking about harmonization of standards. So different standards and in different systems based on different standards can be talking to each other. Once we link that together, watch out, the whole world will be swept by this. So that's the first point. The second point that I like to make is, as we digitalize the supply chain, and as we think about the global trade in this digital era being more and more digitalized, the main impact in my mind would be creating more and more opportunities for small and medium-sized enterprises, the SMEs. And if there's one thing that the globalized, the digitalization of the global trade has brought, is really a democratization of the whole process of access. Small companies now, if they actually are au fait with the digitalization, can access the system and be able to be part of the global system and be able to compete in a much more even basis with even large firms. Before, without the digitalization, I can tell you the small and medium-sized enterprises are excluded from this for a long, long time until they grow to a certain size. No longer. So really, as we digitalize the global supply chains, as we see a more and more global trade being conducted, by a digital process in this digital era, we're going to see larger and larger participation of SMEs. And it's really opening up, it's empowering the SMEs. Now, that's a big statement, empowering the SMEs. But I'd like you to think about that. We talk a lot about ESG. We talk definitely about a lot of sustainability, climate change. But you know what? I think one of the most serious problems that we need to address in the world today is the inequality of income that is becoming worse and worse. In fact, I think that actually lies at the heart of a lot of the domestic problems that is causing our inability to deal with climate change. It's because that people get into extremes, and we don't get the opportunity to deal with these problems. So this income inequality issue is, in my mind, the most important thing that we really need to deal with, on a par at least with sustainability, which we all talk about on a daily basis, which we all want to do something about. But let's think also about inequality of income. I can think of no better way to truly address that is to empower the SMEs in different economies. And the way to empower them is to democratize the whole global supply chain and give them, equal access, if you would, through the digitalization process. And as we allow them that access, as more and more global trade is conducted in digital form and with more and more participation by SMEs, we're actually doing a lot to help the equality of income and the equality of income distribution. That is one of my main theses going forward. And I really hope that tonight, we can really put some bones on that framework by our distinguished speakers. So I'm not going to take up more of your time. Matthew, I'm going to turn it back over to you. I just like to say again how much I like to welcome all our participants tonight, our Fung Scholars, and thank you again for all our speakers who have really come at a very inconvenient hour for many people. So thank you very much.